In the city of Zaza, there lived a very wealthy man named Aku. Aku's life seemed perfect on the surface. His business thrived, and his mansion stood as a testament to his success. He was a man of honor, known for his generosity and kindness. His wife, Amaka, was expecting their first child, and with each passing day, her condition made it increasingly difficult for her to manage the household chores. One evening, when Aku returned home from work, Amaka decided it was time to address the issue that had been bothering her. She could no longer keep up with the demands of their large home and needed help. She gently held Aku's hand and said, "My love, we need to find someone to help with the household chores. I can't manage everything in my condition." Aku, always understanding and supportive, nodded. "You're right, Amaka. I'll find someone suitable to assist you." A few days later, as Aku was driving home from work, he noticed a young woman walking along the sidewalk. She was strikingly beautiful, with a demeanor that suggested humility and diligence. Aku pulled over and introduced himself. "Good evening, miss. My name is Aku. I'm looking for someone to help with household chores. Would you be interested?" The young woman, named Amarak, was initially taken aback by the offer, but agreed after a brief conversation. She was in need of work and was grateful for the opportunity. Amarak quickly became a fixture in the Aku household. She was efficient, hardworking, and seemed to understand Amaka's needs without much direction. Amaka was relieved and grateful for her presence, and even began to regard Amarak as a friend. As time passed, however, a subtle change began to occur. Amarak's demeanor shifted from humble to assertive. She began to overstep her bounds, taking liberties with the household's management. Aku, who was often busy with work, didn't notice these changes, but Amaka felt increasingly uncomfortable. One evening, while Aku was away on a business trip, Amaka confronted Amarak. "You've been acting differently lately. This is my home, and I won't tolerate any disrespect." Amarak, no longer the meek house help, looked at Amaka with cold eyes. "You might be the mistress now, but things can change." Amaka was stunned and worried. She decided to discuss the matter with Aku as soon as he returned. But before she could, events took a dramatic turn. Amarak began a calculated campaign to win Aku's affection. She played on his emotions, presenting herself as indispensable and subtly undermining Amaka at every turn. Her beauty and charm were hard to ignore, and Aku, unaware of her true intentions, began to trust her more and more. Eventually, Amarak's manipulation bore fruit. Aku, blinded by her charm, found himself drawn to her. One fateful day, after a particularly heated argument with Amaka, Aku made a decision that would change everything. He proposed to Amarak, believing her to be a better fit for his life. Amaka, heartbroken and betrayed, was forced to leave the mansion she had once called home. With her child in her arms, she walked out, unable to believe how her life had been turned upside down. Amarak, now the new mistress of the house, wasted no time in asserting her dominance. She threw out Amaka's belongings and made it clear that Aku's children from his first marriage were no longer welcome. The once harmonious household was now a place of tension and conflict. But fate has a way of balancing the scales. Amarak's true nature began to reveal itself. She was not content with just being Aku's wife. She wanted control over his wealth and power. Her manipulative ways continued, and it wasn't long before Aku began to see her for who she truly was. Aku, filled with regret and remorse, realized the grave mistake he had made. He sought out Amaka, begging for forgiveness and pleading for her to return. Amaka, who had found strength and resilience through her trials, was hesitant. She had built a new life for herself and her child, one free from the toxic environment Amarak had created. In the end, Amarak's greed and ambition led to her downfall. Aku, having lost everything he held dear, was left to rebuild his life from the ground up. He learned the hard way that trust and loyalty are priceless, and once broken, they are nearly impossible to mend. Amaka, with the love and support of her child, moved on to a brighter future. She never forgot the betrayal she had suffered, but used it as a lesson in strength and resilience. The city of Zaza continued to bustle with life, but the story of Aku, Amaka, and Amarak remained a cautionary tale of trust, betrayal, and the consequences of misplaced faith.